Well, welcome. Welcome to our 10th annual Gala, Justice Rising Gala. We've been in existence for 12 years, but this is our 10th annual Gala. Thank you. Thank you for being here. My name is Glenn Marshall from WG. Okay. I tried to hit the note, and I couldn't even hit it. Glenn is not with us tonight. He contracted COVID, and they texted me this morning while I was working out, and I said, sure, I can do it. I was so delighted when I got that text. But I am happy to be here. My name is Tim Jones. I serve as our Vice President of Major Gifts and Individual Giving. That email you got, that was from me. That direct mail you got, that was from me and the team. And any email follow-ups and calls you get from here to December, that'll be from me. So welcome to the party. We appreciate you all being here, standing, sitting, still talking, drinking, eating. We appreciate you being here. As many of you know, this is a hybrid event. So we have some folks online that is with us. Let's shout out the folks that are online. We wish you were here. Stay safe, stay dry, stay warm. We look forward to being with you next year, all in person, no masks. You can wear your blush, your mascara, nothing will come off on your mask. Listen, guys, we are here tonight because LCLC is important to all of us. In some way, shape, or form, or fashion, LCLC is important to all of us. Whether you support fairness and justice, whether you're an advocate for the development of young people, whether you are a criminal justice reformer, if you're a board member, shout out to the board. Any board members hanging out tonight, right? No matter if you're a staff member, many of our staff members are serving you tonight, welcoming you tonight, and volunteering. Whatever led you here tonight, whatever led you here 12 years ago when Cliff started this place, whatever led you here 10 years ago, 5 days ago, we're delighted that you decided to spend the night with us, not spend the night with us. We leave. We're going to leave. But we thank you for just helping us be a place where young people can come and receive help during one of the most vulnerable times in their entire life. We get a chance to provide lawyers, case management support, outreach help, and we all just come together to make sure that we're transforming the lives of those individuals that come to us throughout the county of Cook and beyond, as we'll talk about some expansion tonight in the city of Chicago, and then how that expansion will lead to more some expansion, some change. Thank you. A big piece of tonight, we'll talk about this idea of justice rising and our partnership with the 3 sister neighborhoods, 3 sister organizations, Bill and Austin. Shout out Bill. Where you at, Bill? Right? Breakthrough Ministries in East Garfield Park. Shout out Breakthrough Ministry. Where you at? Right, another partner's here with New Life Centers in Little Village, another sister organization, right? So we just look forward to what's ahead for all of us in this collaborative and this collective. We look forward to the great success that we'll see in the future, now and in the future, but tonight we celebrate. Tonight we're going to kick it. You're going to get a chance to hear from King Pat. Shout out King Pat, I just met him. We're going to hear an amazing story. We're going to hear an amazing story from our brother Deshawn. But as you know, again, this is a streaming event, and we just want to make sure we don't forget our audience that's virtual tonight. We want to make sure we show them love and keep them with us. But right now, I'm going to serve as our GPS for tonight, because I got you for a little bit of time, and I hope that you will stay with us throughout the time. So over the next 45 minutes, we'll be together, we'll go through a program together. Then we'll allow in-person attendees to experience our restaurant showcase some more. If you haven't eaten everything already, if you haven't drank everything already, there'll be a time for you to refresh your plate. Later tonight, around 8:30, we'll announce our staff awards, introduce our Justice Rising Coalition, and again, we'll have a musical performance from North Lawndale's very own Mr. King Pat. I can't wait to go back there. I want to take this time to provide a huge shout out to our generous sponsors. There's no way we could be in this amazing space without the support of our generous sponsors. Indiana, Illinois, Iowa Foundation for Fair Contracting. Winston and Shawn, Gorilla, Chase Bank, Luke Jordan Talbot, shout out to Case, I saw Case earlier. What's up, Case? Jenna and Block, thank you Terry for your support. Rachel Lay, Saul Ewing, Ernestine and Lair, the Stage Family Foundation, I saw that group. Thank you for your support. Shiv Harden, Riley Safer Homes, and Ken Celia, Stephen Hamilton Productions in room 1520, Kirkland and Ellis, the amazing women from Smallwood, I saw them. Pepsi, GMA Construction Group. These are our only co-sponsors, or dual sponsors, I should say. Gerald and Kay Nellis. They gave us money tonight and they gave us Cliff. Dual sponsorship. Thank you for Cliff. Dr. Dennis Deere, Applegate, Thorne and Thompson, Tomasak, Colton, and Castleman. Thank you all. Let's give a big round of applause to our sponsors. Listen, it's going to be a night of reflection, celebration, inspiration, fun, conversation that's going to stop completely in just a minute. But before we do all that, we want one of our distinguished board members, Pastor James Brooks, Senior Pastor of Harmony Community Church, Chief Ministry Officer at Lawndale Christian Health Center. He's going to do an opening prayer, and all these people, I'll let him do his own prayer.
Amen. If you can hear me in the back, look at your neighbor with your mask on and just say, shh. All right, let's do it one more time and then we're going to pray. Shh. How good and pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to dwell together in unity. Let us pray. Lord, we give you thanks and praise for allowing us to gather for LCLC's 10th annual Justice Rising Benefit Gala. Oh God, we give you thanks for Lawndale Community Church that gave birth to Lawndale Christian Legal Center 12 years ago. Thank you for sustaining us down throughout the years. Lord, we know that all good things come from you. Thank you for the Legal Center's leadership, Cliff Nellis and team. Thank you for our board members, wonderful staff, great partners, and especially the young people we have the honor of serving on a daily basis. Now, Lord, as we formally begin this evening, Lord, open our hearts so that we will generously share our hearts with one another, share our stories, and also share our resources. Lord, we trust you, for you told us to trust you with our whole hearts. Lean not to our own understanding, but in all our ways acknowledge you, and you will direct our path. Amen. So God, we give this time over to you. It's in your Son Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Where was he 5 minutes ago? Okay. Thank you, Pastor Brooks. I have a little bit of moral authority too. I decided to keep talking. Thank you, Pastor Brooks. All right, enough of me. This is the time when we kick off the program with two people who you may know. If you don't know, you'll get a chance to hear from them tonight in a really big way. Lawndale Christian Legal Center's Executive Director, Cliff Nellis. My colleague and friend, Vice President of Organizational Health and Management and Cook County Commissioner of the 2nd District, Dr. Dennis Deere.
Good evening. Well, welcome to LCLC's 10th annual Gala, celebrating 12 years of service. Thank you so much for being here on behalf of the Lawndale Christian Legal Center. That was a little feedback. Did you all hear that? Yeah. Okay. Maybe you do it from here. My name is Cliff Nelson. If you haven't met me, I'm the Executive Director of the Lawndale Christian Legal Center. Before we begin our program tonight, I do want to just acknowledge a few people in the audience. I know our Glenn Marshall already acknowledged the board, but if you are a board member, if you would please stand, or at least wave. If you're standing, just wave in the back. If you're an advisory board, please stand up. Advisory board members, please stand, and young professional council members, please stand or wave. And then last but not least, our amazing staff that make what we do every day work. Please wave or stand if you are on our staff. There's one staff member tonight that we have to give a special shout out to because I don't think she's slept for about a month, and I know she's had probably 10 espressos tonight. But Karen Kopp is a
All right.
But later buy Karen a drink so she can go home and pass out. There's a few more people though that I want to acknowledge before I turn it over to you, Dr. Deere. Tonight's a little bit of a special night for me. First of all, there's somebody virtually who is the first judge I appeared in front of at the Lawndale Christian Legal Center with our first client. So Judge Carl Anthony Walker, right there. Thank you for logging in on the virtual. And then I have two people here that their first gala, they're close to me. I love them dearly. The first one is my beautiful daughter, who's back there. She is 9 years old. When Justice Sotomayor signed her book for Ruby, she said, "Dream big." And so, Ruby, you're going to do amazing things, more than I've ever done. You're beautiful, and I love you. Second person here that I want to say shout out to is my ride or die, my one and only, Jennifer Ping over here on the Berlin table. I love you. There's Jen right there. All right, so I think with that, I can turn it over to you, Dr. Deere.
Sounds good. And Cliff, thank you so much. Give Cliff a round of applause. He's a dynamic leader. Our fearless leader. My name is Dr. Dennis Deere. Most of you also know me as Cook County Commissioner Dennis Deere. And we're just outside of the 2nd District, so I won't say welcome to the 2nd District, but we're close. All right? I am tasked with acknowledging our elected officials. We know that we have some that are attending virtually, so shout out to Michael Scott, who is our alderman in the 24th Ward. Give me a round of applause. Yes. Lakeisha Collins, who's our state representative, give her a round of applause. And any other elected official watching, we honor you. Thank you for your support. We could not do this work without you. And I'll take a round of applause for being Cook County Commissioner. Yeah. So listen, Cliff and I will have a quick dialogue. We want you to listen because we're going to quiz you afterward. So make sure you pay close attention. All right? So my name is Dennis Deere, as I mentioned already. I am a politician. I am a policymaker. I am a clinician. I'm the Vice President of Organizational Health for LCLC. I wear a heck of a bunch of heck of a bunch of hats. But before I was any of those things, I was just a little 10-year-old growing up in Lawndale on the west side of Chicago. And that's where my story actually begins. Somebody say west side now. And you got to say it like we say it, west side. Yeah.
That's the west side.
Yeah. So let me tell you a little bit about my story and the man that you see sitting up here. On July 3rd, 1982, I was 10 years old. That night, I was sitting on my back porch, enjoying my favorite drink and watching the fireworks. And at 10 years old, my favorite drink was lemonade, just for anybody wondering. A car pulled up behind my house. I could hear shouting outside. And then a door opened and a man was pushed out. I heard 4 loud shots. They sounded like fireworks because it was the 3rd of July, but it definitely didn't look like them. I was 10, I was traumatized, and I didn't know what to do. But guess what? My parents, they knew exactly what to do. They wanted me to sit down and shut up. When the police came to the door to ask questions, you know what my mother Shirley Deer said, God bless her soul? She said, we ain't seen what? Nothing. Say it again, we ain't seen what? Nothing. And Lawndale, where we're from, and many other communities, the police would never dare to help us. That was a defining moment in this black man's life. The defining moment that I decided I was gonna go to school and I was coming back to my community to make a difference. I wanted to create generational change. What does that mean? I wanted to impact my kids, to impact their kids, and impact all these other kids that are in the community, because when we make generational change, we change the trajectory of our communities. Despite some of the bad things that people have seen or heard about Lawndale, and there's a lot of stuff out there, I saw so much good stuff. And that's, I think, Cliff, what you and I have in common.
That's right, Dr. Deere. In fact, I would say it's kind of appalling as to how often we have to talk about the good things in North Lawndale, because so many people only know the negative of what's on the news. And it's really almost insulting at times when we have to defend our community. But like Dr. Deere, I'm raising my family, my beautiful daughter over there, my 3 children in Lawndale. I've lived there now for 12 years. Shout out Lawndale. I'm an attorney, I'm the founder of the Legal Center, and I'm currently the executive director. Yeah. But before I was any of these, I was just a young kid growing up in a suburb of Chicago, a northwest suburb called Lake Zurich. It's a predominantly white community just west of the city. And today, I travel between these 2 worlds. I travel between the world in which I'm currently living and raising my family in North Lawndale, and the world in which my parents, who by the way are here too, I want to shout out to my parents. Can't believe I'm dead. And where they still live in the home that I was raised in. And this is what I experience every day. I see a criminal justice system that protects white communities and punishes black communities. I see police, lawyers, and judges who laugh and joke around with my white friends, and then in North Lawndale, disrespect, degrade, and threaten my black friends and neighbors. And I'm not talking about people that are suspected of crime. I'm talking about Pastor Joe. I'm talking about Dr. Deere. I'm talking about my neighbors and people that attend our church. And this is a real problem. I mean, it's appalling, but we're doing something, we're gonna change it.
You better believe that we are, Cliff. And what we're doing at LCLC is we're putting justice back into the criminal justice system by changing who designs it. And let me tell you who designs a bunch of stuff for me, because I'll be remiss if I didn't remember it. My wife is sitting right there next to me. Barbara Deere. She is the apple of my eye. Yeah? She is the wind beneath our wings. And she is the reason that I can sit up here and be next to Cliff and do the work that we're doing to change the criminal justice system. Because that's what we're
That was a
doing.
good save, Bob.
Thank you, sir.
You're good, yeah.
So one of the reasons the system is so problematic is because the people that designed this system, those people aren't from our community. They don't come from Lawndale. Those lawyers and judges and police officers, they ain't been to my community. In fact, back in the days when I was growing up, and I'm gonna age myself, there was a song that said 911 is a joke in your time. The only interaction that they have had with black and arrest us, when they take us to the courtroom, and when they see us inside of the jail. This makes them and our entire system vulnerable to rampant racist bias and inequities.
That's right, Dr. Deere. It's not just the fact that the system is designed and led by people who aren't from communities most impacted by the criminal justice system. The other problem with our system is that it's designed and led by people, by lawyers and law enforcement predominantly and only, not by clinicians like Dr. Deere, who've been trained to understand the complexities of human behavior, particularly adolescent development. Our current system is really designed to process cases, not people. It's not designed to get to the understanding of the who and the what and the why behind the actions, just to punish it.
That's absolutely correct, Cliff. Like one young man, and you know who I'm talking about, but I'm gonna call him Tony. He was a successful football player. He got a scholarship. That was his ticket out of the hood. But guess what? When he got to college, he had a career-ending knee injury. Came right back home. He fell into a depression, right? He started smoking. He self-medicated. Started smoking a lot of weed. And in order for him to keep up that weed habit, guess what he started doing? He started robbing people. He had to support that habit. And he then became to the point that him and some of his friends robbed a pizza delivery guy. Rather than understand what Tony's why was and respond with solutions that work, our system response was the same as it's always been. Throw Tony behind in jail, give him a felony record for the rest of his life. That's what they would have did if we hadn't intervened. That stuff don't work. Socrates said a long time ago, Cliff, if you always do what you've always done, you're gonna always get what you've always got. That is the definition of insanity. Yeah. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
Right, and that's not what we're about at the Legal Center. We're doing something we've never done before to get something we've not got before. Our founding board of directors, 100% of them were residents of North Lawndale. By our bylaws, 51% of our board of directors will be residents of North Lawndale. 70% of our staff are from and residents of North Lawndale. It's because we live and work in the community that we're a part of every single grassroots collaboration there is in the neighborhood. Rodney Brown, our keynote, and Dr. Deere founded the North Lawndale Community Coordinating Council. We started the Restorative Justice Hub. I don't know if Richard Towns was in the room with the Homeowners Association. We're a part of the life and the fabric of the North Lawndale community. And the reason why we are part of the fabric is because we believe that communities know best what they need. But you can't hear it if you're not with them.
That's absolutely right. And look, as we said back in North Lawndale, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Everybody know what 100 means? Yeah, don't say 100, say 100. That's what I'm talking about, 100, right? We are implementing a community-led model. Remember Dane John, for us, by us? That's what we are, right? A community-led model, one that tackles the root causes of crime and works to, guess what? Heal harm and not create more of it. Take for an example, the guy that I made mention of earlier, Tony. As part of our holistic community-led model of restorative justice, after Tony robbed that pizza guy, remember, we supported him and the pizza shop owner with a holistic team that focused on healing instead of addressing those root causes. That holistic team included, guess what? A community lawyer, a case manager, 2 circuit keepers, and an outreach worker, all, guess what, who were from the community that we actually served them in. For us, by us.
That's right. And our community lawyer, which was me at the time, went to court on behalf of Tony, of course, represented him in court. Our community circle keepers gathered Tony, the pizza delivery guy, the pizza owner, his mother, and some affected community members, and we went through a process that we call Restorative Justice Healing Circle. And at the conclusion of that circle, everybody has an opportunity to share what they need to become whole. What will help everybody become stronger after this harm has occurred. And for Tony, his covenant required, well, it is required, it's a covenant. There's an agreement that everybody shares. His covenant involved building a mentoring relationship with the store owner, a mentoring relationship with the pizza delivery guy. He actually went on pizza deliveries with him. He volunteered some time over at the pizza shop to clean up the shop.
That's right.
And he also got trained in circle keeping so he could go and do circle keeping, for others. But the most powerful thing, and this is something in our current system, there's no space for this, the most powerful thing that happened was his mother shared about how his younger siblings, his sisters, had started to process the fact that he went away to jail. And they were coloring and showing some of their emotion in some pictures they were drawing. And you can tell that they were heartbroken. So one of the things that came out of that circle was they needed to do a follow-up circle with their own family privately.
Finally, Cliff, our community case manager, as well as outreach worker, supported Tony by giving him or connecting him with the services to address those root causes of behavior. Remember, he was depressed, he was smoking a whole bunch of weed, and he also didn't have any employment options. Guess what? As part of that healing covenant, Tony did complete substance abuse counseling. He entered our transitional housing program, and he also completed paid training in the trades to earn him a job. Now, this is what I like the most. For Tony, it created a scenario where he actually owns his own car, he has a job as a full-time roofer, and he's got his own apartment. That's doing something that we never done to get something that we never had. And when we do something we never done to get something we never had, that's the opposite of what Socrates talked about. But I made that up, so we're gonna call it the deism.
I stole it earlier. So the Tony that we're honoring tonight, his name is Deshawn Nelson. And give it up, Deshawn. Like Tony, his story is remarkable. You're going to meet him in a second, so I'm not going to steal his thunder. But he's an amazing young man that I'm excited for you all to meet. But what I want to stress is that we're not just changing individual lives, one kid at a time anymore. We made a shift about 3 years ago that really realized that what we're doing on the ground, in community, with this holistic restorative justice model, can actually transform the way the criminal justice system works and operates as a whole. So our mission and our vision now is to scale this across Cook County. And this summer we launched our partnership, we call it Justice Rising Project 77. And we launched this with our 3 partner justice awardees tonight.
Yeah.
Build, a social service agency in Boston. We already shouted out to them. Breakthrough in East Garfield.
Yeah, breakthrough.
And then New Life Centers in Little Village.
Yeah.
We are integrating our legal services with their social services. They are of, in, and with, and for their community, so that we can begin to expand this model on the west side. Because at the end of the day, we want to be able to do this across the county to make sure every young person under 25 has the benefit of healing harm and meeting their social needs.
That's right, Cliff. And what I'm happy about, as you have designated me to be the leader of the Justice Rising Coalition. Woo-hoo!
Yes.
Yeah.
Every day we'll be in this.
Listen, our model works. So we're taking this stuff beyond Lawndale. Because when you got some work, we can't just stay in Lawndale. We got to spread our wings and fly like an eagle. So we're partnering with people all across Chicago. People who are actually in their community, of their community, and doing things for their community. Because there is good strength and love in every single community. And when we add real justice, we're making a safer world for us all. Thanks so much for listening to us. And God bless you.
Hey, thank you, Dr. Deere. Thank you, Cliff, for those inspiring, encouraging words. Hey, Pastor Brooks, can you do a second prayer so those people in the back? Hey, this is probably the highlight of the night for me right here, when we get a chance to introduce our client award, our partner award. I've met him. He's really sharp. If he was downtown at some of your corporate offices, you would say he has executive presence. If he was running for office, you would say he's presidential, right? He gets it at 23, and I can't wait to introduce you to him. But it is my privilege to introduce the Emerging Leader Award. Our annual Emerging Leader Award is given to LCLC's youth who models leadership, models courage, and success. This boy is successful. This man is successful. Every year, we are challenged to select one youth out of many that are leading by example and striving to improve not only their life, but the community around them. So please take a look at this year's award recipients.
Welcome to the truck life. I always sold drugs for either myself or my family. After my dad passed away, certain things stopped going on in my household, and me seeing my mom struggle. The last time I guess I went to jail, it was enough. After I saved up about like 7 work checks, I ended up buying a moving truck. Then from that point, some of my friends from jail hit me like, hey, I need a job, and that's how I started.
Don't be afraid of the dark, be careful with stars. Not every light is gonna guide you. Not every light is gonna guide you.
Yeah. Anybody with an IDOC number, I can relate to everything they've been through. Like I know how it feels not to be heard. When you get out of jail, it's hard to find a job. I say to give people a second chance, a life. When you get that felony, like your life over with. The friends I got right now that I hired, all of them got felonies, class X. And for me to give another person a chance of making money and providing, that's getting my second part of life.
I'm grinding, money on my mind, and I'm headed to the top. I won't stop until I find it. Write my name with diamonds, but all these lights are blinding.
It's actually my mom. She passed away in 2019, and I keep this in here because she never get to saw the legit me, and this just make me smile every day. Like I keep it with her every move, just so she can see that everything I'm doing, and to know that I love her and she's still with me to this day.
Cause you rise to the madness in the morning, it's all gonna vanish. Don't be afraid of the dark, be careful with stars. Not every light is gonna guide you.
And we are here. Mr. Nelson Movies. I wouldn't say we're a team, we actually a family. Because it be times that the person don't have money for lunch, and we help each other out for lunch until we get paid, So I feel like it's important to pay your workers the same day, because some people need food at home. Some people need to buy Pampers. Some people just need to have money in their pocket to survive, That's a good feeling to go home with some money. That actually brings them back to work. If the person knows that, okay, I'm gonna get paid at this time, I'm coming to work because I want that money right then and now. And it's fast,
I'm grinding, money on my mind, and I'm headed to the top. I won't stop until I find it.
Deshawn, where do you begin? I mean, like, really, truly inspiring. As a 22-year-old, he took his savings and bought a moving van. I mean, that was a big gamble. I have no doubt that there are a lot more entrepreneurs in North Lawndale. There's a lot of kids that have a very entrepreneurial spirit. And I think that what he's accomplished is hopefully inspiration for a lot of the other young people that we're serving.
Let them rain on your spark, keep it close to your heart. All of the pressure's gonna drive you crazy.
So I feel like I'll be a great help to LCLCs to help the kids with guidance, because I've been in their shoes before. I've been locked up in juvie. Like I've been a kid, had to prove myself to other people,
So we started working with Deshawn as he was partnering with our youth. As part of our partnership, we decided that it'd be great for him just to join us on site, utilize our resources, the space, supplies, etc. And then also he could be a possible employer for some of our emerging adults.
Don't be afraid of the dark. Be careful with stars. Not every light is gonna guide you.
My goal is to have 10 trucks. 10 trucks. 20 staff, if I can have 20 staff. And I would like to at least have 5 jobs a day for everybody. That's my goal. You know, when people see that I can do it, they can like, yeah, oh man, he came from nothing. So it's like, I can do it too. That's actually my goal, for people to like say that I can do it too.
I'll just shout out on behalf of Lawndale Christian Legal Center, you are the 2021 Emerging Leader Awardee. Everybody give it up for
It's not just me, it's also my team right there. Because I appreciate everything you guys done for me. Late nights, sacrifices, not coming on sometimes. I'm sorry about that. But I appreciate everybody for coming out, hearing my story. I hope you guys like it, because I did a lot. Thank you, Jamie. And I also like to give a shout out to Cliff, the main man. Ooh, I need to bring it today. Everybody for coming out. Thank you.
Big shout out to Mr. Nelson's Movers one more time. A really inspiring story. I put my app in July. You talk to your HR department. Nobody's hit me back. I can help you with that box she was carrying in the video. But hey guys, one of my jobs is to find co-pilots for Lawndale Christian Legal Center. And I don't know if you noticed or not, but from the moment that a plane takes off to the time that it lands, it's off course. If not for a pilot and a co-pilot. So that's what I do. I look for co-pilots who want to join me in the cockpit, and there's room for all of us. Don't let the metaphor limit us. All of us can fit in the cockpit, and all of us can help us get us to this destination that we're trying to get to and really change this holy discontent that we have with our criminal justice system. And so as part of that mission, as part of the work that I do, you know, it's now time for me to pull you in tonight. And it's not just going to be me that does it. This is where you all get involved to help support the incredible mission, the incredible work, so we can replicate stories like Deshawn's and so many more over the past 12 years. It's time for our paddle race. Did you get a paddle when you walked in? Raise your paddle. You won't be charged if you raise it right now. Yeah, I see you. I see. Yep. Okay. Okay, cool. So this is that time. I'd like to welcome to the stage Mr. Anthony Mosley, an actor, writer, director, producer, as well as the artistic director of Collaborative Action in Chicago. Please welcome to the stage Mr. Anthony Mosley.
Hello everyone, it's so great to be here with you tonight. In a room together, gathered for this great cause. If you
Hey, thank you, Anthony Mosley, for guiding us through that. Thank you, everybody who contributed to the work. Somebody came and gave our director of the dance $500, Matthew McFarland. Thank you for that cash. We appreciate that. I think he said if you don't have money, give energy, right? Right? I'm gonna try that tomorrow with AT&T, Combat. I don't have it, but I have energy, and they're gonna cut my energy off. Hey, before I go any further, it's really, I know we've been name dropping and shouting folks out, but we have what we call OG, triple OG in the house. Coach Wayne Gordon, Emeritus Pastor, founder of Lawndale Community Church. What up, Coach? But I saw him posted up and I wanted to say what's up. So thank you guys. Before we take a break in our programming and before you come back and be quiet and listen to everything else that we have to share, I want to introduce the Partner in Justice Awardees for this year. Before you get up, Lawndale Christian Legal Center's Partner in Justice Award is presented to extraordinary individuals who demonstrate commitment and passion to pursuing justice, equity, and opportunity for young people. These remarkable individuals understand the collective responsibility we all share to live in ways that shape our society to be more equitable, to be more open, and more accessible to our youth, particularly Black and brown youth. Our partners in justice lean into the moral arc of the universe described by Dr. King to ensure that it bends toward justice. This year we actually have 4 awardees, 4 justice awardees to reflect the partnership that we just created, North Lawndale Community Coordinating Council, since its inception and the work that they've done, as well as the partnership that we've expanded into those sister neighborhoods and those 3 sister organizations that we mentioned in Austin, Little Village, and East Garfield Park. And Bill, we're going to get to you. New Life, we're getting ready to get to you. Breakthrough, we're getting ready to get to you. Dawn, my colleague, come on up. My office mate is going to help me present these awards and hand out these awards. Hey, Dawn. Look at Dawn dressed up. Yeah, so as I call your name, stand up, make your way to the podium. We would love to celebrate you. Mr. Rodney D. Brown, LCLC. Adam Alonzo, CEO of Bill. Come on. Matt DiMatteo, Executive Director of New Life Center. Take your time, Matt. Miss Yolanda Fields, Executive Director of Breakthrough. Amazing leaders. So Mr. Rodney D. Brown is a figure we all know well in the Lawndale community, and he is our keynote speaker tonight. It's been my honor and privilege to sit in the room with him. Very brilliant man, very thoughtful man, and tonight he'll serve as our keynote speaker. He is the Executive Director and CEO of the New Covenant Community Development Corporation, NCCDC. Please get better. Yeah. He is also the co-founder and serves as a member of the executive committee of the North Lawndale Community Coordinating Council. NLCCC. Yeah. And he's the chair of the Economic Development Committee. He is also the executive director of the North Lawndale Chamber of Commerce. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Rodney D. Brown.
Great introduction. Checks in the mail. As I was introduced, my name is Robbie Brown, and I am indeed the Executive Director of the New Covenant CDC. For those of you that do not know, that is a small business development center located in North Lawndale. Our work is around helping entrepreneurs start and grow their businesses. And I have to tell you, I didn't realize I was sitting next to a rock star when I was sitting next to Mr. Nelson. That's what New Covenant is looking to do in North Lawndale. We need more Mr. Nelson, and we'll need your support to help us do that. Prior to my journey here at New Covenant, I was raised on the West Side. I worked in corporate America for about 25 plus years. The last thing I worked for, I started as a senior buyer. By the time I left, I was director of local procurement. I had direct reports in Europe, Japan, China, and of course here in the United States. My unit was responsible for $950 million worth of spend, the largest spend of any unit in the company. So as I stand here tonight to talk about why it's important for communities to lead development, it's not only an honor, but for me, this is personal. When we start talking about NLCCC and what it's going to mean to North Lawndale, I talked about the community that I grew up in. I grew up 2 blocks east of North Lawndale. And I have to tell you, North Lawndale doesn't play. I was standing in front of a group of people talking about some work we're doing, and not once, not twice, but 3 times I was asked, where was I from? North Lawndale wanted to make sure that I was legitimate. So the first time I go, well, let's go, I said, are you from North Lawndale? No, I'm not. And I kept talking. So I asked me a second time, no, I'm not. When I was asked the third time, I said, Lord, you need to give me an answer because I'm getting tired of this question. So what I said was this. I said, no, I'm not a North Lawndale native. However, I grew up 2 blocks east of North Lawndale, and that woman right there, my wife, she grew up in North Lawndale. I'm a North Lawndale in-law. I got no more of those questions. But the reason why this is important to me, and the reason why this is personal to me, the community that I grew up in, as I mentioned, is 2 blocks east of North Lawndale. Address I grew up in was 2243 West Roosevelt. I'll never forget it. Right across the street from the Jubilee Detention Center. Anybody familiar with that?
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
I didn't know at the time. My parents told me on a regular basis, one more time, young man, you're walking across the street. I didn't realize they couldn't leave me there, but so it worked on me. But the reason why it's important that communities lead development, that community did not lead its development, and that community does not exist anymore. Let me take that. It exists, but not for us. So if the community is not engaged, who's not at the table, their fate is not in their hands, and who knows what's going to happen to them. So as we look at what goes on there, we understand that communities must be responsible, must be engaged. So before I go any further, I want to share with you a definition for community. So the community is all the people living in an area or a groups of people who share common interests. A group of people living together or in the same locality or who share interests or a sense of identity or a sense of family. So, who is responsible for leading a family? We all are. How would you feel if somebody came to your house and said, we're taking over? We're now going to be responsible for making decisions on what happens in your family, what happens to your kids, what happens to the money that goes in and out of your house. So, that's not something we all be comfortable with. That being the case, if community is a group of people, a group of families who lead, and we believe that the parents, the guardians in that house should lead that home, then shouldn't the group of families, the head of those families who live in those communities, shouldn't they lead community development? Yes. That's what we're talking about. That's right. That's what we're talking about. You know there's been years and years of disinvestment, et cetera. North Lawndale is a community that has been disinvested in for more than 50 years. So there's some disparities there. There's some things that need to happen there. So you might say, well, gee, Rodney, the community isn't ready to lead itself. I say to you that's not so. What the community needs are resources. I was thrilled to see this number pop up here tonight. $200,000, that's what it represents. With those kinds of resources, we can create some more Mr. Nelsons.
Amen.
That's what this is all about. You may say to me, look, Rodney, there are people who step in all the time and help other families, help other people, different communities, and I'll say to you, you're absolutely correct. And I'll say to you that help is appreciated. But the issue is this: when somebody from outside steps in, and no offense to people that step in, because we certainly appreciate that, they have an option. They don't have to do it. And the problem is, the challenge for the community is that if they ever decide to exercise their option and go somewhere else, the community is stuck. We're left high and dry. If the community is controlling the resources, if the community has a seat at the table and is making decisions about what's best for the community, then when others decide to leave, it doesn't sting as much. One of the things that I love is that I remember being a kid, and my father would say to me, every time I'd be thinking about something or I've done something, I'm going to make another move, he says, boy, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're about to say, I know what you're about to do. And the reason why he could say that is that he walked in my shoes. Yeah. He knew where I had been, he knew where I was going. And because of that, he could guide me. Same thing for our community leaders. Our community leaders, it's not an option for them. They live this community. Their very lives are at stake. So when it comes to understanding what's going on in the community, they understand the issues. So when we talk about solutions, who should be providing those solutions? The leaders in our communities. They should be working with individuals that want to come in and be allies for us. Flint also asked me to talk about the work we're doing at NOCCC. So NOCCC was formed in May of 2015. That's when the idea was conceived. So here's another example of outside versus inside. There was an opportunity for us to apply for a CMAP, Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning grant. They were going to address 4, maybe 5 issue areas that would be required to help build a community. We pulled together 25 people in the room. Mr. Duke was at the table with us as well. We asked ourselves, should we go after this particular grant? And the answer was a resounding yes, but. And the but was this: we need to look at more than 4 or 5 issue areas. By the time we were done, we had identified 13 different issue areas that we wanted to address to help rebuild North Lawndale. Now get this, not only did we identify those 13 issue areas, we had also agreed we were going to work on those issue areas. And here's how we did this. So we get the 4 or 5, we said, what else do we need? Somebody said, well, we need communication, we need to have housing. And when those people raised their hands, guess what? They became the chair of those committees. You don't get to walk to the table, drop off a pop, and walk away from it. But here's the other thing. Everybody that decided they want to be a part of this, decided they'd be the chair, willingly accepted, and today we have most people still serving as chairs of those different committees, all as volunteers. NOCCC has 1 paid staff person. Everybody else is a volunteer. They need a hand for that. So again, you asked about who should be leading. Again, we sincerely appreciated the opportunity to build that CMAP grant. They showed that they care, they wanted to encourage the community. But again, they came to the table with 4 opportunities, 4 different ideas. When the community got together and said, here's what we need to do to rebuild the community, we had 13. Because we know the community, we understand what the needs are, we understand what the issues were, and we knew what it was going to take to help rebuild North Lawndale. And so when we walked away with those 13 different issue areas, we began to meet on a regular basis to address those issues. So in May, we had the idea, we started the meeting. September, we had a soft opening. In April 16, 2016, we had our first official annual planning conference. It was a Saturday morning. The sky was blue, sun was shining, and it was like the earth opened up for us. All the stars lined up. If the alderman were here, he would tell you that we came to him even before he was inaugurated and said, hey, you need to be part of this process. He was a little reluctant at first, but he finally said yes. And he's been a stalwart partner with us ever since. North Lawndale Community Coordinating Council has managed to secure every elected official that represents North Lawndale to be part of our process. Along with, at this point, we probably have another 800 people in the community that are part of our organization and are saying, hey, we want to stand tall with North Lawndale Community Coordinating Council. Again, when you talk about who should be leading the effort, that's what we're talking about. So fast forward, we've met every year, and we had some sort of planning communities, we engaged the community, asked them what they want to see in North Lawndale, what they want to see in 5 to 10 years. And so here's where we are right now. With community engagement, with community at the table, making decisions, making determinations, coming up with solutions, we have, with the representation from the North Lawndale Community Coordinating Council and different committees, we are launching a project to build 1,000 affordable homes in North Lawndale. We're working with the Chicago Public School System to bring a STEAM Partnership Academy to North Lawndale. Sinai Community Center, one of our partners, has built a new surgery center for the community of North Lawndale and surrounding areas. Our Workforce Development Committee has just built and christened a new workforce development campus with our partner, North Lawndale Employment Network. They are committed to reduce unemployment in North Lawndale by 10% in the next 3 years. All right. The Sports and Recreation Committee has formed what they call the North Lawndale Athletic Recreation Association. They're working with all the agencies in North Lawndale, working with our youth, again, to help give our youth choices, to give them options, give them things to do so they're not right on the streets. Again, they are doing fantastic work with our youth. The Economic Development Committee, as mentioned earlier, we are looking to also bring a grocery store to North Lawndale. We're just signing an MOU to bring a brand new 40,000 square foot grocery store to North Lawndale. Our Arts and Culture Committee has a regular Arts and Culture Fest every year for the last 5 years, this last year, but every year for the last 4 years. The committee's been held, festival been held every year. We get easily 100 to 200 people to show up, and not just in North Lawndale, we also partner with South Lawndale, a little village as well, to be a partner in that effort as well. Every year we're celebrating arts and culture in that community as well. We have a goals committee for vacant lots and things on those lines, putting flowers and plants in our community. So when you ask me who should be leading the effort, what I just described to you, who should be leading? One more time. For the people in the back, one more time. There is no question in my mind who should be heading families, who should be heading community. And so I want to thank you all here tonight for coming out and celebrating this LCLC. Thank you for celebrating the work that's going on in North Lawndale. And I just want to say, now is the time for North Lawndale. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rodney Brown. We appreciate those words. Couldn't agree with you more. Hey, here's what I know. You need a break. Also, this is our time to say goodbye to our virtual audience. Thank you for your participation and hanging out with us all night. So here's what I need you guys to do.
As many of us know from the headlines, there are so many things that lead to a person's involvement in the criminal justice system. And it's heartbreaking for us when we find that those juveniles that are justice involved have really thrown their lives away.
Then they put you on trial. I was just a young child. Gave you 25 to life, all these years gone by. And you never asked why. All you did was pray to God, all you did was waste your time.
I was in jail facing 31 to 75 years. So I was thinking, that I needed to take some time. But 19 years, it just wasn't sitting right with me. Especially me being 17 at the time. I really didn't know how 19 years felt. At the end of the trial, September 14, 2012, the jury gave me a not guilty verdict, and I was able to come home.
Well, I think what people don't know about the criminal justice system is that it is doing harm. It's designed and led primarily by lawyers and law enforcement. As a lawyer, I went to law school. I know what we learned. We didn't learn community organizing. We didn't learn behavioral science or developmental psychology or sociology or neurobiology. We didn't learn the complexity of human behavior. We learned laws and punishments. That's it. We learned, it's a very black and white education.
How you doing? How are things?
I'm good. I'm just doing a little homework right now, so.
Yeah, what class?
This is my last week of the microeconomics.
I hate micro and macro, I ain't gonna lie. I think I'll probably, frankly, hate macro worse than micro, but I didn't like either one.
Through Justice Rising Project 77, we are integrating our model of holistic community-based legal services by adding lawyers and case managers with the social services that those organizations have been developing and working on for decades in their communities.
So with our peacemaking work, a lot of our work involves connecting with youth who are involved in the streets. So we have currently a few hundred that we're already working with that are connected either to probation, aftercare services, but one area that we've been historically lacking in is legal representation. And so a project like Justice Rising is huge because we can mix a mentor, a street outreach worker, a case manager, a victim advocate, and a community-based legal representative. That's a team around the young person that really can help them thrive for the future.
Having access to a lawyer, if it wasn't for him, I probably would have been in there with a public defender. A public defender just basically, whatever the deal is, just take it so they can just cross it off their list, and on to the next one. Cliff didn't do that, he put years into helping me. That's what a lot of people need in this situation. If nobody to give up on them, a good lawyer to continue to fight with them until it's over.
But I actually wanted to talk to you about seeing about getting my record expunged.
Yeah.
I think it's probably around that time now.
I think you're probably right.
Here at Breakthrough, we know that legal representation is important. It's not something that we can provide. And so to have someone here on site able to provide that kind of service and attention to our young people is life transforming.
All right. And then you won't have an next court date. Like I said, you only get a next court date if any problems come up.
Generally speaking, I would say 30 to 40% of the young people that we work with are actually justice involved. It's a very complex system, and even our mentors that are working with justice involved youth, they don't understand it fully. So just having access not only for young people, but for organizations to an attorney that can explain those systems, it's a big deal for us.
I'm a Cook County commissioner. This is even more exciting to me as a commissioner, because what that means is we can take what we have learned here and create public policy and legislation around it.
We believe in stronger together. This is the first step of going from one agency with legal representation in LCLC to then now expand to the first 4 in this Justice Rising movement, and then continue to see that expand to cover all then 77 communities in the future. And so it's about taking the best of who we are as individual agencies, bringing them together for the sake of our young people in Chicago.
I do own a business, Land Resolution. Right now, I know I clean 3 banks. With my morning jobs, I can have about 4 to 5 employees working under me. And, at night, I usually have 1 or 2. That is the current contract that I have under my business, and I'm just seeking more contracts and eventually hire more employees.
For me and for us, this is generational change. It means that we can take a client from one level and change the trajectory of their actual lineage, which means that we stop the cycle of individuals going to incarceration and making them more productive citizens. I think that is a dream of all of my friends who are legislators, and it's certainly my dream.
Been through a lot of things, girl. I'll spend my life with you, 'cause I know you got the potential to be a queen. Girl, tell me, could you hear this? Girl, tell me, could you hear this? Say I do. Tell me. Yeah. Deep back. Shout out to my mama. I love you, Queen. What the hell? Yeah. NGU, baby. Never give up. I'ma go get it, mama. Put my feet on their motherfucking neck. Yeah. I'ma take my time, I'ma tell y'all what I'm about to do. Yeah. All this money coming in, ain't nothing but to do this ball. All you niggas don't sound like you doing what you do. I got it. I was still trying to get back, Lord, they was like I'ma take my time, I'ma tell y'all what I'm about to do. All this Gucci coming in, ain't shit but to do with ball. All you haters don't sound like you doing what you do. I was just doing trying to get fat, Lord, they were like, okay. Told me sitting on sideline. I keep up with paper, don't keep up with hate. Headline, so you got flatline. You say you got bread, but you never rock. They look the dirt on my name, cause I'm bringing in money. Y'all spending couple body, thought it was funny. Hey, well, y'all thought it was funny. Hey, now I'm making moolah. Every time I step in school, it get too hot. Blocking out the head, hey, mama do that. You say you didn't know that, you reckon not too much. Hey, yeah, you reckon not too much. I was motivated, hungry like a gator. All I ever wanted was to get my way up. Louis Finney, pride, rocking for the haters. Every red bottle, you can copy wearing. Say you can copyright. I was on the money train for my baby, so in I knew I was the neighbor, try to look on. I had to get a bag of bang in there, a nigga bag. Choke my pockets so fat, they all the way up. Taller than the skyscraper. Man, I'm not coming down, so get out the cut. Mama all admitted, baby boy, the grades tell me how you feel. It's alright today, and we ain't gotta wait no more. I hit the Powerball, something like a lot of. And I'm taking out my dog, got a contact from the cocaine, Maserati, guys, stick down in the Kenny, I'm right, that's a 911, Bugatti Spike, taking off the heaven skirt. Ballin' up in heaven, lane gang record, never on the dead black, I ain't got no max on. Been flexing since a baby, never been the cape around on me, I'ma clap some. Oh, you see the hate, y'all made I made, but you still know my name. It's keep back forever, do it acapella, keep back forever, I can do it acapella, keep back forever, I can do it acapella. My mother, umbrella, these teardrops, they storming on ya. Yeah. I'ma take my time, I'ma tell y'all what I'm about to do. All this money coming in, ain't nothing but to do is ball. All you niggas don't sound like you doing what you do. I got it. I was just still trying to get fat, Lord, they were like I'ma take my time, I'ma tell y'all what I'm about to do. All this Gucci coming in, ain't shit but to do with ball. All you haters don't sound like you doing what you do. I was just still trying to get fat, Lord, they were like God grant me some really simple things I cannot change in terms of change things I can the wisdom, know the difference. All peace, mama. I see you one day. Right now, they put my feet on their fucking necks.